It's been around 10 years since that event when Blackbeard came out to be the only one who can use two devil fruit powers at once. But how did he do it? People have come up with dozens of speculations, theories on this, but none of them fully make sense to me. There's been at least one or two holes in every theories that I came across, and Oda is the only one who can tell us the truth, but what I can do is explain why some of the famous theories that we have had over the years, like the cerberus theory, doesn't quite fit with the story and the event at all. And I'll also explain how I think Blackbeard did it, but there's no guarantee that it will be the case that has actually happened. So after watching this, give at least one theory that you think how Blackbeard did it, and then let's see in the future if any of us came up with the right theory or not. And before diving into that discussion, I publish new One Piece theories every week, so make sure that you don't miss any future One Piece videos by subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. So starting with the event at Marineford, we saw after Whitebeard's death, Blackbeard's crew put a black curtain over his body and then Blackbeard went under it. Now his objective was to have Whitebeard's devil fruit power, but why the black curtain? What was the use of that? And there's a lot of answers to this question. People saying that Blackbeard ate some part of Whitebeard's body that contains his devil fruit power, and Blackbeard didn't want anybody to see that because that might expose the secret. And there's even a theory that states that he gave Whitebeard a blowjob under the curtain, but let's not go into this wild speculation. Although it kinda makes sense that Blackbeard ate some part of Whitebeard's body because Big Mom got her devil fruit power after eating Mother Caramel. But why would Blackbeard stoop into cannibalism when there's a more easy way to get someone's devil fruit power? We saw in Punk Hazard that when Smiley died, the nearest fruit turned into a devil fruit, and it was later confirmed in Dressrosa that when a devil fruit user dies, the devil fruit then respawns within another fruit in the world. But there's a catch that every devil fruit will always look the same no matter how many times it is being respawned. Like Blackbeard's Yummy Yummy no Mi has always looked like this, and that's why he was able to recognize it after reading about it in the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia, which means that every devil fruit has a certain type of base fruit to respawn within. So Smiley's devil fruit, the Sara Sara no Mi, will always respawn within the nearest apple, and likewise if Kaku dies, his devil fruit Ushi Ushi no Mi will only respawn within the nearest banana. And that's how Jesus Burgess was trying to steal Luffy and Sabo's devil fruit, because he already knew these facts about devil fruits respawning. That's why he had a bag around his neck which most probably contained several types of normal fruits, and it also aligns with his statement that he was on a journey to hunt devil fruit users. Now it's obvious that Jesus Burgess got this information on devil fruits from Blackbeard, because Blackbeard has done his fair share of research on devil fruits since the very beginning. So the point is, Blackbeard already knew how to take someone's devil fruit power after their death without stooping into cannibalism, which concludes that the black curtain wasn't for Blackbeard to secretly eat some part of Whitebeard's body. So I completely cut off the cannibalism theory. Now we know that Blackbeard has a devil fruit encyclopedia, so he obviously knew which fruit resembles the Gura Gura no Mi, and he could have brought that fruit with him when he killed Whitebeard. But I don't think he obtained Whitebeard's power by eating a devil fruit either. The first reason is that we didn't see him carrying any sort of fruit with him when he went under the curtain. Now you might say that he had a big jacket and he might have hid the fruit in one of his pockets, and that is obviously a possibility. But why would he go under a curtain just to eat a devil fruit? It's not like that devil fruit respawning is a knowledge that only Blackbeard and his crew knows. We saw Doflamingo and his lackeys know about it, and there were many high-ranking marines and some of the Whitebeard pirates in Marineford who I think also knew about it. So it wasn't some exclusive information that Blackbeard had to keep a secret. And if he had eaten another devil fruit, given the possibility that he could somehow survive after eating two devil fruits, I think it would have been more intimidating if he had done it in front of everyone. So it's kind of silly to think that he would hide under a curtain just to do this. And I think the curtain serves some other purpose which I will be explaining a bit later in the discussion. So it's not the cannibalism theory and it's not the devil fruit theory to me either. Now let's talk about the cerberus theory, which may be one of the most famous theories regarding this topic. And those of you who don't know about this theory, it basically goes like this: that at some point Blackbeard ate a mythical zone type devil fruit cerberus model, which allows him to turn into a cerberus, and because it has 3 heads that resembles his Jolly Roger, he can also eat 3 devil fruits, and some even say that he already ate the cerberus fruit, so one head doesn't count and he can only eat 2 other devil fruits, those being the Yummy Yummy no Mi and the Gura Gura no Mi. So that's basically the gist of the theory, and to me this theory makes 0 sense. First of all, no matter how many heads it produces, the fact doesn't change that he already ate a devil fruit. So if he eats another one, he is obviously going to die. Having 3 or 4 heads doesn't matter at all. It's just a power of his devil fruit, like Orochi had 8 heads, but that doesn't mean that he could eat 8 devil fruits. And if it doesn't seem a concrete enough reason, then I have another. And for that we have to look at Blackbeard's objectives in Marineford. His primary objective was to take Whitebeard's devil fruit power, but we know Blackbeard is very shrewd and plans every one of his moves ahead of time. So what did he plan to do after getting Whitebeard's power? To me, his plan was to take the first step of becoming a Yonko, and he did it by showcasing how terrifying his powers are. Right after getting Whitebeard's ability, he demonstrated the power of his darkness and the power that could destroy the entire world. And he did this to attract pirates from all around the world to join his crew, and also to create terror among marines and normal people. So if he had another devil fruit ability, he would have already showcased it at that point, making himself even more terrifying and gaining more notoriety. That's why the cerberus theory doesn't make sense at all to me. It doesn't fit with the story as well as the events in Marineford. Now let's move on to a funny theory that says one of Blackbeard's ring ate Whitebeard's devil fruit, and I don't know what to say about this. This theory is full of holes, and I'm sure most people didn't take it seriously. But I mentioned this theory because it brings up an interesting aspect of that event that some people might not have noticed, and it was Shiryu's statement about the crew being disbanded. After Blackbeard went under the curtain, Shiryu said that if it fails then they will have to disband, which means that Blackbeard himself wasn't sure that he could pull it off, and if he fails he will die. So he must have told this to Shiryu and the others when he was recruiting them in Impel Down, that if this plan fails he will die and they will need to disband. And it completely writes off the ring theory, because if he was planning to use one of his rings to have the devil fruit power, then there wouldn't have been a question about disbanding the crew or his life being in danger. Now moving on to another theory that says Blackbeard has 4 stomachs like a cow, which makes him capable of absorbing multiple devil fruits. But technically this theory is wrong, because cows have only 1 stomach which is divided into 4 compartments, and it doesn't explain why he has 3 skulls on his Jolly Roger and why he carries 3 guns. And it also doesn't fit with the Jaya incident when Luffy and Zoro told Nami that Blackbeard isn't a single person, and Zoro referred to him as they, which I think indicates this somehow sense that Blackbeard doesn't give up the spiritual power or haki of only one person, because he probably has multiple spirits within his body. And because Luffy and Zoro wasn't competent at using haki, they weren't sure about this, and that's why Zoro said probably. But Oda wouldn't have given this conversation if it wasn't related to the story. So that means Luffy and Zoro were right about sensing multiple spirits from him. And the stomach theory doesn't bode well with this, because having multiple stomachs and multiple spirits isn't quite relatable. Now let's talk about another famous theory that says Blackbeard has 2 twin brothers, and he used his devil fruit abilities to hide his brothers inside him, and when he was taking Whitebeard's ability, he let one of his brothers out to eat the devil fruit. Now this is a good theory, but it doesn't explain everything. First, Blackbeard's body was unique from the very beginning. Buggy said that he has never slept during his life, and then Marco said the very structure of his body is strange, which he must have noticed far before Blackbeard eating the yummy yummy no mi. And it also doesn't align with Shiryu's statement, because if Blackbeard could hide other humans in his body, then there wouldn't have been any doubt regarding his plan, because then he already has another intact body of his brother to host a devil fruit. But from Shiryu's statement, it was clear that what Blackbeard was trying to do wasn't a surefire method, it must have been only a hypothesis. And this 3 brothers theory comes from the famous Ottoman pirates, where there was 3 brothers and their mother was named Katarina, same as Blackbeard's crewmate Katarina Devon. And these 3 brothers pirate flags symbolized crescent moon, which resembles the nickname of Katarina Devon, the crescent moon hunter. But I think Oda was only inspired by their story about naming the characters, nothing more than that. Just like he was inspired by the famous historical pirate Blackbeard, whose real name was Edward Teach, or alternatively spelled as Edward Touch, which resembles Whitebeard's name Edward Newgate, Blackbeard's name Marshall D. Teach, and 4th Division Commander Touch of Whitebeard Pirates. So again, this is a good theory, but it doesn't touch all the important points in the story. Now it's time to explain what I think has actually happened, and my opinion is it definitely has something to do with with the yummy yummy nomi fruit's power. But not only just this, it must also include some other facts about Blackbeard's body. Because if it was just the fruit's ability, then it doesn't explain Blackbeard's strange body and Luffy and Zoro's statement in Jaya. Now about the black curtain and why it was necessary. I think Blackbeard needed complete darkness to pull this off, because his fruit power is darkness and the natural enemy of darkness is light. That's why he can transform his body like the other Logia users, because his natural enemy light is always there. It's like Crocodile constantly having water on his body, because water holds his element and then he can transform into sand. So Blackbeard needed complete darkness to disassemble his body and transform it into darkness. Then he might have taken over Whitebeard's body to suck his devil fruit power, and then when he was reassembling into his original body shape, he utilized the part of his body that makes it strange and different from others to hold the Gura Gura no Mi's power and keeping it from escaping and respawning within another fruit. Now the most important question is, what makes Blackbeard's body strange? And I do have a theory, but I'm not completely sure about this. But let me explain it. I think Blackbeard was born with 3 conjoined hearts, and I looked up on the internet searching that what would happen if we had 3 hearts, but only found something that explains if we had 2 hearts, then most likely it will allow us greater feats of endurance. So I think Blackbeard having 3 hearts would allow him to live on without sleep and keep his vital signs normal at the same time. And then it also makes sense why he has great endurance. In his battle with Ace, he said that his darkness sucks in more pain than is originally inflicted, and that's why after getting hit with every attack he writhes in pain and screams his lungs out, but he also recovers from it in no time, which shows in terms of endurance he isn't normal. And now about having 3 spirits or 3 souls. Can we relate it to having 3 hearts? Now heart is a biological term and spirit or soul is a term of philosophy, and we have always heard that our heart is our soul. Then I searched on the internet if it's really true or not, and found a statement saying this, that soul or Atma, credited with the ability to enliven the body, was located by ancient anatomists and philosophers in the lungs or heart, which is also the location of human life force, and that basically means spiritual power or haki. But I don't know how correct this statement is, although it explains why Luffy and Zoro sensed multiple spirits or personalities from Blackbeard. So if Blackbeard has 3 hearts, it explains why he has 3 skulls on his Jolly Roger, why he carries 3 guns with him, why he has different personalities, why Luffy and Zoro sensed multiple spirits from him, why he has great endurance, and why he never sleeps. Now the only thing left is how he sustains 2 devil fruit powers, and I think after sucking the Gura Gura no Mi's power with his darkness, when he was reassembling his body, he assimilated that power into one of his souls, meaning that soul will hold the essence of that power, allowing it to coexist in his body with his other power. But it might have been just a hypothesis that Blackbeard came up with, and that's why he wasn't sure if he could pull it or not, but ultimately he did. And I think he can do it directly by eating a devil fruit, because it won't let him choose where to store that power, and if it ends up being in the same place with his other devil fruit power, then he will end up dying. So I think this explains almost all the events, but I'm not completely sure that this is what has actually happened, and it's one of the biggest mysteries in One Piece. So let's see what Oda reveals in the future, but in the meantime comment how you think Blackbeard did it. And you have come this far in this video, so don't forget to subscribe the channel and ring the bell icon to get notified about new One Piece theories every week. Thanks for watching.